Wizards of the Coast has come out and announced the newest round of product delays. This time we're talking about Innistrad Crimson Vow. These sort of announcements have become the norm in recent times. However, this particular announcement is actually a little bit different.
Magic. I am a wizard! History. I'm an old wizard! The magic historian. My bones hurt.
Greetings! Owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles, my friends, I hope the day finds you well, because we have gathered to talk about, admittedly, some disappointing news. We're going to be talking about the Crimson Vow delay announcement. Now, since we're going to be talking about something unpleasant, I may as well mention something pleasant as well, and that is that I have a lore channel with all kinds of awesome Magic the Gathering lore videos on it. If you haven't checked it out, it's called Fantasy Geographic. We've got innistrad lore over there specifically from Midnight Hunt, so feel free to check that out. I'll leave a link at the end of the video. So, diving in to the unfortunate news we're here to talk about, Wizards of the Coast has made the announcement that Crimson Vow is going to have delays. Now, this is obviously nothing new if you're familiar with Magic the Gathering. We've had product delays across the board. However, this product delay actually kind of throws a spike in the wheel of a particular theory that people have, myself included, about the way Wizards has been handling product distribution. So you know what we should do first is actually go over the official announcement, and then I will explain to you how this one is different and changes the theory that some people, including myself, have about Magic. So, the announcement says, Innistrad, Crimson Vow product delays affecting North America. Shipping and production delays will impact the availability of Innistrad Crimson Vow set boosters for the November 12th pre-release events in the following North America locations, and that is United States and Canada. For the United States and Canada, set boosters will not be available for pre-release weekend, and fans should anticipate availability delays through release on November 19th. Pre-release packs, collector boosters, and draft boosters will be available for pre-release and early sales where available, and draft boosters will be used for pre-release event prize support. We're looking forward to getting Innistrad Crimson Vow into stores and the hands of players as soon as possible. And we thank you for your patience and understanding. So, that's the announcement, and I do have to admit, for me at least, it's always surprising when Wizards of the Coast has problems specifically in North America, and for me, that's because that's where they're situated, right? I mean, Wizards of the Coast literally is in Seattle in the United States, and Canada is essentially stapled onto the United States. So when I think of product delays, most of the time, I think other countries suffering from those product delays, right? Not Canada, not America, and ultimately it is a disappointing situation. But like I said, this announcement is a little different, and the difference really boils down to the type of product that won't be available, because in this case, pre-release kits, collector boosters, and draft boosters are available, but set boosters will not be available. And up until now, what we had seen as a trend was that set boosters were the ones that were always available when a set was coming out. Wizards of the Coast was even changing over to making like set boosters the actual main pre-release items. If you hadn't heard about it already, Wizards of the Coast used to use draft boxes for pre-releases. So you'd get your pre-release kits and a box of draft boosters, but they switched it over to set boosters as the prize support for pre-release events, right? And that actually, in my opinion, isn't a terrible idea. There are situations where set boosters are actually the more desirable product. When you're going to be drafting, draft boosters are the more desirable product, clearly, right? And when you're doing things like sealed events, like a pre-release or something like that, again, draft boosters are the more desirable item, because set boosters aren't designed for sealed environments. They're basically designed just to be a more enjoyable experience while opening it. I don't know if you saw the initial launch of set boosters, where they went through the concept of like, here's what we're doing. We've got this group of cards that represents this, and it's all meant to take you on a journey through the set. And I do think that that's a cool concept. I mean, they were a little overblown with it, but ultimately, set boosters are great as prize support. But ultimately, the theory that people had, myself included, is that Wizards of the Coast was intentionally pushing an agenda of set boosters. And by that I mean they were what some people actually thought was that Wizards of the Coast didn't actually have any product delays, and they were literally just saying that there were product delays so they could push the set boosters out there, right? Because the easiest way to kind of force people into taking a particular product for Magic is to make that the only product that's available at the beginning. Because Magic players, we tend to be ravenous. Whatever's new, we want it, and we want it now. We want the cards spoiled way before they come out. We want the cards like immediately. When pre-release comes out, just let us buy all the boxes and everything we want. Pre-release has really just become the release now. Let's be real. Back in the day, pre-releases were set up in a way where you could only get your pre-release kit and any prize packs. You couldn't even buy booster boxes, but Wizards changed it at first to be like, yo, you can buy Planeswalker decks at these events. And then they went, you know what, we're going to send out a couple boxes to sell. And then they just said, hey, you know what, whatever, man, we're just going to send a ton of product. So it seems like on pre-release weekend, everything is available. So the idea would be, hey, if you make a particular product not available and everybody's used to buying everything now pre-release day, then if you only have set boosters available, then people who wanted draft boosters, who wanted, I get more cards and more packs, they're still going to probably turn around and buy a set box because it's like, well, you couldn't get your number one choice, but do you really want to wait another week or more while everybody is hyped up and enjoying their new product, right? Like, there was a genuine argument to be made that Wizards of the Coast might have been trying to, like, Trojan horse in the set boxes by going, hey, why don't we just not make as many draft boxes, or say there are product delays with the draft boxes and then people just have to buy the set boosters, right? Like, that is the theory that people had. And I was somewhere in the middle. I believed that Wizards of the Coast was intentionally pushing set boosters, and I mean, ultimately they are. Changing the pre-release prize structure to include them instead, changing bundles to include set boosters instead of draft boosters. Those are clear indicators that Wizards of the Coast was like, boom, we're trying to push set boosters, and it makes sense. They make more money off of it, right? But for me, I didn't think that they were actively, intentionally holding product back to push those set boosters forward. But the longer it went on and the more it felt like they were pushing set boosters, the more I started to give that line of thought more credibility. I started to say, maybe the people who are thinking this are onto something. But we can see right now, if that was Wizards of the Coast's original plan, then we would have a situation now where we would have set boosters. We would get the announcement saying, sorry guys, we're not going to have draft booster boxes, because that has been X number of last announcements where it's like, there will be no draft boosters. But now they're coming around and saying there aren't going to be set boosters. So if they had that agenda to make set boosters the ultimate thing, then they wouldn't have these production issues, right? They could literally tell the printers, hey, you know what? Prioritize making these boxes instead of the draft boxes. So ultimately, I have to admit that I was wrong, at least on some level, thinking that Wizards of the Coast had some underhanded tactics. Now, there'll be other people who are going to go, no, this is Wizards playing four-dimensional chess, and they know that we're on to them. And so for this time, they've gone ahead and changed things around to draft boxes instead of set boxes. But it's still 100% calculated. And I have to say, I think that people thinking that are probably giving Wizards of the Coast a little bit too much credit as a nefarious, evil organization. Like, let's be real. When you look at stuff like Arena and things like that, Wizards of the Coast always seems to be scrambling to a degree and are always somewhat on the back foot. You've got cards that are printed with the wrong names, sets that feel like they were scrabbled together at the last second, like Ikoria. The fact that they had to pull the Theros novel and all, like, they literally commissioned an entire book. It was written and they wouldn't let us see it. That's how bad the book was, right? So MTGO doesn't work right. MTGA doesn't work right. Everything that Wizards touches is at least minorly flawed, right? So thinking that this is some epic chess move and Wizards is like maneuvering us around to be like, you think it's set boosters, but it's not. This time we'll intentionally make it draft boosters. I think if they had their way, they would have all the product available at full capacity. And really, they're just a victim of circumstance and what's going on in the world, at least to some degree in this scenario. That's my opinion on it anyway. So you can let me know what you think. If you think I'm a crazy person or whatever, I'm going to have the names of all my patrons, my top patrons scrolling on by. Thanks for supporting my channel, my friends. It means a lot to me, and I will see all of you next time. And in the meantime, you should join my Patreon.